So in my own personal recovery, and I see this for so many people, it's something I'm so passionate about. But after I let go and healed some of my behaviors, I then became stuck years without knowing, without it being as noticed, without it seeming concerning because the behaviors weren't what they were. I got stuck in this place called, that I like to call like quasi pseudo-recovery. And this place is a scary place to be because it is a place where it's much more acceptable in society, and it's also a lot harder for us in recovery to see how it's a problem. And so I want to talk about that today. I want to talk about my own experience and what I see with clients, why it's a scary place to be, what it looks like, and how to get to full recovery and not be stuck in this pseudo recovery place, and what that takes. And so to start with my own journey, like I mentioned, was just stuck in this place where I was doing better. I wasn't, really hardcore exercising and over exercising. I wasn't as depleted and restricting as much. I wasn't as obsessive over, those kind of behaviors. There was no more, periods of binging due to that restriction. I was at a healthier weight for my body. I let go of those behaviors, understanding that wasn't good, and it wasn't a place I wanted to stay. And then what happened was I entered this place where I thought I was recovered from my eating disorder that I never, at the time I didn't label it as such, but I thought I was in this place of doing better with food and body and that constant anxiety and struggle. But I don't know if any amount of brain space around food and body image actually decreased. I think I went from 80% food and body on my mind to 70% or maybe 80% still, but it shifted to these new obsessions. And so I was in this place where I was still obsessed about figuring out food and nutrition and these ideals, and still very, very much feeling like I needed to have control over my body. And then there was this new, and just had very terrible body image, but also there's this new thing around health and wanting to be healthy, doing it for this purpose of being healthy. And the healthy was obsessive, rigid. I didn't understand it. It's very black and white, and it was very, gotta find all the perfect answers. And so in this place, in pseudo recovery, I'm going to explain a little bit just in case you're here and you're questioning why it still doesn't feel good. So like I said, a lot of my behavior stopped. I wasn't binging, and I wasn't exercising as obsessively. I wasn't necessarily counting calories as hardcore. I was focusing more on what I was eating, but I was still very much focused and obsessed with it. So those behaviors were a lot less intense. I gained significant weight by that point too, of where my body needed to go. But my day-to-day, this is maybe kind of what I'll explain, and it was a while back, so I'm gonna try and really think back. But what the day-to-day looked like, essentially from day-to-day, I still was focused on food and body image from the minute I woke up until the minute I went to bed, just in a different way. I was obsessed over finding the exact way to eat for health and the way I prepared it. And I got into like functional medicine, and I was really still super focused on getting this body that would make me feel more confident, and make me feel more comfortable. And so my body image was still very much tied up into how perfectly I could eat, shaping my body. Exercise too, I was really like researching 24/7, not only my diet, but also the perfect exercise to that like created optimal health and longevity. It was, and also what would shape my body in a certain way. It was extremely obsessive, but I also it produced a lot of anxiety, and it took me away from my day to day. So it's just obsession over health, in these weird ways. And it was me trying to control these areas that in a healthier way, in a more acceptable way. And it felt like such a huge responsibility trying to figure this out. And I was like, I can't figure it out. I can't get to this weight that feels great, or this shape that feels great, or this ideal body. I can't figure out what nutrition is going to make me feel like super confident and in control and like solve all my problems. Like, I didn't actually know what I was reaching for. I didn't know the roots of what was causing this. It was just my disordered eating that morphed into, less scary behaviors, maybe medically, but still super scary in how much it was impacting my mental health and my well-being and my life. Really, my day was centered around this: what groceries to get, what research to do, fitting in my workout, obsessing over the scale and the mirror, and like solving this thing to help me to feel safe, to feel more confident, to feel more stable, to feel more whole. And it just morphed. And everyone's pseudo-recovery, quasi-recovery is going to look different. But what I like to describe it as is you're doing better, but you haven't got to that place with your relationship with food and body where it is